What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today, we are taking a look at the results and the metagame of the Chill Series number 11 tournament that was on December 9th. There were over 100 players in this tournament, and there are several unique attributes about the results and the metagame statistics to look at, including the most popular deck and the fact that there were 7 different decks in the top 8 of the tournament. So we're going to talk about that today. Shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes. Be sure to use code CELIO for 5% off. We'll start with the metagame breakdown. You can see here that Pikarom was the most popular deck. I wouldn't have expected Pikarom to be the most popular deck in any Vivid Voltage standard format if you asked me this right before Vivid Voltage came out. I thought Colossal would scare it away, and there was a solid amount of Colossal at 10 being played. But yeah, Pikarom 37 for a 20% meta share. So this means Pikarom was more popular than ADPZ. ADPZ has been the most popular deck for almost all of the standard format Vivid Voltage online tournaments, and now Pikarom was more popular than ADPZ by over 5%. So I'm really surprised to see Pikarom get this popular. ADPZ still at the second place, and we have Centiskorch dropping all the way down to only 6 people playing it for a 3% meta share, when this was going between first and second and third most popular for a while there. Also, Zacian Luke Metal very, very low on the popularity. Pikarom, Zacian, ADP being the only 2 decks over 10%, and then Eternatus being right near the 10% mark. So that's roughly the metagame. Pikarom and ADPZ are very popular. Eternatus and Baby Blounds, Lightning Mewtwo, and Colossal are mildly popular. Everything else is kind of down in the nickels and dimes. We're going over to the standings. So what I wanted to talk about in regards to the standings, like I said, there were 7 different decks in the top 8 of this tournament. So based on that, you could say that the metagame is fairly diverse. There are a lot of decks to choose from. Now, that doesn't necessarily make the format good, because I think card design and game design just makes the format unfun to play and unrewarding, and the games are too quick, but the format and the metagame is definitely diverse nonetheless. So we had Eternatus being the only deck that had 2 copies in the top 8. So we had Eternatus, Centiskorch, Pikarom, Blacephalon, Psychic Mewtwo and Mew, which we will talk about, ADP Zacian, and Decidueye. So actually, why don't we start with the Psychic Mewtwo, since this is a deck we haven't seen for quite a while now. The earlier builds from prior to Vivid Voltage were using multiple of this Rotom with Energy Assist as the energy acceleration. So this was kind of like Lightning Mewtwo, where Lightning Mewtwo uses Bolt Tund. Psychic Mewtwo is using Rotom. So Rotom's Energy Assist attached 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So it is a bit harder to use than Bolt Tund, because you have to have the energy in the discard, but it's also not a multiple prize Pokemon. From there, this deck was playing Crushing Hammers. It was playing 4 Marnie and 2 Trevnor, since Trevnor Marnie is a main part of this deck. So why don't we just take a quick look at Trevenant Dusknoir tag team with the Night Watch attack. For Psychic, 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 it does 150, and then choose 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. Your opponent reveals those cards and shuffle them into their deck. So whereas in the Lightning Mewtwo variant, you're using Bolt Tund, and then 2 of your main attackers are Pikarom and Raichu. In this version, your main attackers are really Trevenant Dusknoir. You have 2 copies of that. But then you also have a couple tech attackers, just like you would in the Lightning Mewtwo. You have Gengar Mimikyu with Horror House to stop your opponent from playing cards, and then Poltergeist to do more damage for trainers, Venom Shot, of course, which snipes the bench, and Solgaleo and Lunala tag team, which for 4 energy does the Cosmic Burn attack for 230. Now, looking at this list, I would say I'm surprised it did so well, only playing the 1 Rotom and the 1 Gengar Mimikyu, since I see those as like the turn 1 options. But it seems to have done really well. JJTCG, I believe, was the username that piloted this to a top 4 finish. It also is playing some disruption to go along with the Gengar Mimikyu and Trevenant Dusknoir disruption theme. It has the 4 crushing hammers, 4 Marnie, and 2 reset stamp, and then of course also, oh, excuse me, it also has the Jesse and James, which can be reused with Eldegoss V and with Cynthia and Caitlyn. So really interesting and cool to see this Psychic Mewtwo variant come back and perform so well in a tournament with 169 people in it. Like I said, Colossal was fairly played, but the highest placing Colossal was 11th place. The highest placing Lightning Mewtwo was 10th place, and although only 6 people played Luke Metal, there were 2 of them that placed in the top 16. Let's take a look at the first place Decidueye list, which this has, Decidueye has changed with Vivid Voltage, to my surprise. I believe this list was made by Tord and Robin Schultz. I don't know if the pilot made any major changes to it, but I know they shouted out Tord and Robin for the list. So this does not have Obstagoon. It's completely Decidueye focused, and it is now using the new Gourmandized Snorlax instead of the old Jirachi from Team Up, which was popularly used with Decidueye prior to this. So they're using the 4 Gourmandize, which allows you to draw up to 7 cards and then end your turn. They're also using the new Telescopic Sight, which when your Pokemon does damage to the benched V or GX Pokemon, it does 30 more damage. So Splitting Arrow, we'll just take a quick look at Decidueye since that's the main card here that we're talking about. Splitting Arrow attack for 2 energy does 90, and then 20 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So if you choose V and GX Pokemon, it's doing 90 and then 50-50, which is actually a ton of damage. Excuse me. So you're doing 190 worth of damage for just 2 energy on this single prize Pokemon. And then you also have the Deep Forest Camo ability, which is the main attribute that we play Decidueye for. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's V and GX Pokemon. So you completely wall off some decks. And even the decks that you don't completely wall off, Decidueye does a fair amount of damage, and you can take care of them with Decidueye. Also, Centiskorch has fallen off a bit in popularity, it seems, so good time to play Decidueye, since Centiskorch naturally plays Volcanions, which are a counter to Decidueye, so it was a good time to play this deck. I really like the engine. You got the 4 Sonia, the 4 Marnie, 4 Rosa, so just super consistent. The double Mimikyu to shut off Oricorio in Baby Blounds and to shut off Mewtwo and Mew in all the Mewtwo and Mew variants. So seeing the double Mimikyu is cool. I haven't played this variant at all, but I definitely want to try it because it looks really smooth. I really like it. And then the Aromatic Grass Energy, which is also new from Vivid Voltage. The grass Pokemon this card is attached to recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by special conditions. So if your opponent's out to beating Decidueye was poisoning them or burning them, well, with Aromatic Grass Energy, that's not happening. So really cool to see this. Also, something worth mentioning, they were able to fit all of this consistency stuff and the extra energy, things like that, into the deck because they are not playing switches and extra scoop up nets to get that Snorlax out of there. They're just letting the Snorlax get knocked out. So the Jirachi build would play 4 switch, 4 scoop up net. This is just playing 1 scoop up net. Maybe I would like to see like a Bird Keeper or something in here as well, or maybe just a second scoop up net. But that's also something very interesting to note about this list. So if you want to look at more of the results from this tournament, you can go to play.limitlesstcg.com, click tournaments, then click completed, and then you have all of these results to look at. But this was the Atlas Collectibles Chill Series number 11, which was won by Decidueye. So shouts out to Kakeem, who was the pilot of that Decidueye deck. Very cool to see these results, with Pikarom being the most popular, and then Decidueye winning the tournament. Centiskorch really falling off in popularity. So does Zacian Luke Metal stays in low popularity. So a lot of interesting things to take away from this tournament's results. and in preparation for your team challenges or other online tournaments. So hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe for daily Pokemon TCG content. Leave a like and a comment to let me know what you thought about these results and the decks that were played. Shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes. Be sure to use code Celio for 5% off. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.